I feel like this is a huge moment. Hi, I am here to welcome you into our final eclipse season of 2026. I'm going to give you just some brief info about the eclipse season that we're in. But first, I just want to say that you might be a person who's already spiritually tapped in. You might be a person who already knows so many things about yourself. You may already have a great relationship with your ancestors. You may have read dozens of books. You may know your birth chart, whether it's sidereal or not. You have your own perspective of wherever you are in your journey. This video is just to give you confirmation if you're one of those people. But for those of us who may not quite have all that information figured out yet, this video is just to give clarity, okay? And that's what eclipses are about. Eclipses are divine moments provided to us by the astral bodies to give us confirmation and clarity on our path. That's all it's about. And here's the thing, sometimes confirmation and clarity does not feel good. I'm going to repeat that. Sometimes confirmation and clarity does not feel good. What I really want you to see in this eclipse season is, regardless of the feelings, the triggers, the emotions that arise out of the moment, what is really being shown to you? That's the direction and that's the medicine that you need to take out of whatever's going on, okay? Now, we're gonna do just like we did last time. A couple months ago, back in February, we had our eclipses. They were in Aquarius and Leo. Now, these eclipses are in Cancer and Aquarius, okay? So we still have an Aquarius eclipse, and that's gonna be happening towards the end of August. But right now, I'm really focused on that Cancer eclipse because we haven't had a Cancer eclipse before. Well, we've had it before, but not anything that I have documented in my content on my journey. What's going to be really interesting with this Cancer eclipse is that this is a moment to I feel like this is a huge moment. Let me explain why. We've got Saturn in Pisces, we've got Jupiter in Cancer. Okay, the largest planets in our solar system are in water signs, dominating. For some of us, the element of water has been whooping us, okay, tearing us up. But again, underneath all the triggers, underneath all of the emotions that are coming up to the surface, good, but we're gonna focus on the bad because I know that's what everybody wants to focus on. That's what everybody's concerned about. Whatever the triggers are, the anger, the sadness, the grief, the negative emotions, what is really at the root of that? Much like in my other videos, I talked about how you can have a positive moment, you can have a positive realization, and you can still experience grief and sadness, right? And so sometimes that grief and that sadness is just a part of letting go and moving on. And so you do have to give yourself space and time to process that. However, it doesn't negate the fact that you're ready to move on. You're ready for a new experience. You're ready for expansion. This Cancer eclipse that's happening within the first 2 weeks of August is really going to be confirming or showing us the expansion that we need. It's going to be pointing to the areas in which we're ready to grow. We're ready to expand. We're ready for change. We're ready for transformation, okay? And for some of us, we're already going to be stepping into that because those of us who really are tapped in, those of us who are really just connected with spirit has already given us the downloads and the tools to take that leap of faith, and we may be literally in the midst of making it happen. So by the time that eclipse even rolls around, you're probably already going to be in the midst of your transformation. You're probably going to be in the midst of your expansion. If you're a little bit confused about what all the triggers are showing you, what all the emotions are showing you, what is at the root, what is at the bottom of all of the stuff that's going on around you. Because this summer has definitely been very, very interesting, especially with all this water in the sky, especially with Jupiter in Cancer. And I will be the first to admit that Jupiter in Cancer has been really whooping my tail. But at the root of everything is really self-reflection. And this video, I don't know if it's gonna come out before or after, but I'm gonna talk about that in another video, because I really have some helpful downloads that I want to share for people who are struggling with what self-reflection really entails and means, because I think that there's another layer to it that even I'm discovering. So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna get into readings for all 12 zodiac signs. This can be for your sun, moon, rising. It can also be for large planets that you have in these signs. So if you have Jupiter in Pisces, if you have Jupiter in Leo, this can apply to you very much, whatever that message is. You have a dominance of a sign. Let's say you have a Virgo stellium, right? Then you would really want to pay attention to the Virgo message, right? Even though your sun sign might be in Libra. If you have never had a sidereal birth chart reading, go ahead and book one with me. Why wait? Because again, this is just quick hits of confirmation, quick hits of clarity to help you make whatever shifts, whatever transformation, whatever alchemy that you need to do during this eclipse season. These readings are going to be about what each zodiac sign needs to address in their life, okay? There is something in your life that's like begging you for a solution. There's something in your life that's begging you for transformation. There's something in your life, and I'm speaking about this in a gorgeous butterfly just flew by. But anyway, there's something in your life that is begging you to transmute it or alchemize it, right? And guys, it may be an ugly situation, it may be a negative situation, it may be something that gets on your last nerves, but we're at a point this summer, you got to do something about it. You've got to take responsibility for whatever it is you don't like, whatever it is that you feel like needs to be leveled up in your life. You've got to take responsibility for it. And maybe you're already in a space in your life where you've done all of that, but you want more. And so you're trying to figure out, how do I shift to get more? And maybe it's just about creating space for the next level, right? That's going to require you to release some baggage or let some things go so that you can move forward. But that's what we're going to be tapping into. What, for each of the 12 signs, what is your life begging you to address? What is your life begging you to alchemize? What is your life begging you to transmute and transform for your good? Some of us have to deal with the things that are really hard for us, and we have to stop getting stuck in crying and complaining about it and reacting to it. We have to stand on business. We got to boss up. Let's start from Cancer, and then we're going to work our way around to Gemini. Gemini will be the last sign, okay? So Cancer, in the last reading, we talked about how change is good for you. And I'm referring to the video, what you're realizing at this eclipse, or what you're realizing during eclipse season from February, okay? For Cancer, I talked about how change is good, and how Cancer has gotten way too comfortable over the years, and whatever it is, wherever they are in their life, they've been too comfortable. And so Cancer, I hope that over the past
February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
6 months. So I hope that Cancer, over the past 6 months, you have been switching it up. You have been realizing where you need change. You need to be uncomfortable. I hope you've been realizing that over the past 6 months, and that you've kind of been like, reinventing yourself, walking into a new book. Let's go ahead and get into, what is your life begging you to address, Cancer? What is your life begging you to transmute and transform? Your life is begging you for creativity. So keep in mind, we've got a Cancer stellium, we've got a Cancer eclipse, we've got Jupiter in Cancer, and it's Cancer season when this eclipse is going on. Okay, Cancer, you are so creative. You are so creative. Okay, and just a little tidbit, guys. We all have moon signs, and so we all have a level of creativity that is expressed differently. um we all have different gifts, and so because this eclipse is in Cancer and we do have a Cancer stellium, a lot of us are going to be experiencing creative boost. A lot of us are going to be discovering where our passions really lie right now, and we're going to be trying to put more energy into those things, as opposed to, again, maybe what's trendy, what's popular, what everybody else tells us we should be doing. We're going to be really honing in on our true desires and true passions for life. And I've been talking about this all year. So definitely pay attention to, whether, regardless of your sign, pay attention to your passions, your deep desires, and where your life is calling you to express more creativity, express yourself more. Cancer, your life is begging you for creativity. You've got to use your creative gifts to solve every issue. Creativity is going to give you financial abundance. Creativity is going to have you with the right community. Creativity is going to allow you to transmute and alchemize dark, heavy emotions and experiences that, honestly, you're carrying with you and you don't really know what to do with. It's going to help you transform it into something really beautiful that other people can use as well. It's going to help you share the load of whatever it is you're carrying with other people. Cancer, the solution, the alchemy, the issues that your life is begging you to address, it lies within your creative expression. You've got to stop holding back. Now, some other things that are coming up with this Three of Hearts, Cancer, there is some manipulation. There is some triangulation going on. There may be someone in your circle or someone in your family or someone in your life. They may be acting like they're your friend, but then they going kiki with your enemy. Okay? So, Cancer, there is a need for authenticity. There is a need for maybe observing certain connections to see if they are really serving you. Is it a community? Is it a friend group? Is it a friend circle? Is it family? Is it sisterhood? Is it brotherhood? Or is it really triangulation? Is it really manipulation? Is it really someone playing the back and seeing what they can get out of you and somebody else? Or are you doing that to other people? Examine those close friendships, examine those close relationships. Make sure that you are not being manipulative. Make sure that somebody else is not manipulating you or triangulating you, creating drama around you. Make sure the relationships that you have, and that Three of Hearts is really talking about like close relationships. So this is like a your inner circle. Make sure your inner circle is really there for you and really authentic, and not just being two-faced or shady or energy vampires, whatever it may be. Leo. Leo, what is your life begging you to address? Leo, you ready? Leo, your life is begging you to level up. Your life is begging you to level up, Leo. Okay? So, Ace of Diamonds, it talks about getting a new job. It also talks about, like, the price going up, right? So maybe you're going to step into something, maybe you're going to be stepping into something that allows you to make more money at this eclipse. But what this eclipse, what this moment is begging you to do is to level up. Leo, you're being too humble. Like, you're being too humble. Like, and there's nothing wrong with humility. Okay? I think there is a healthy level of humility where you're not like showing off or trying to prove a point. I love people who just can be themselves and they're not trying to put on a show and they're not trying to prove a point to everybody that they're around, because to me, if that's how you act, you're really insecure. Because you don't have, I'ma see it. You don't gotta prove it, you don't gotta rub it in my face, you don't gotta show it off. I'ma see it. I promise. I love people who don't gotta do that. However, Leo, you're being too humble, and it's time to level up in as many areas of your life as possible. I can't tell you every level up that you need to make, because you will have to book a private session with me and have a conversation with me in order to really, really get that information. But Leo, this is an opportunity for you to say yes to new opportunities, new things, new wardrobe, new circles, new communities, new house, new car, whatever it is. It's an opportunity to level up. Don't shrink yourself. Don't play it small. Okay, there's an area where maybe you're being too humble, or maybe you're settling, and maybe it's time to say, you know what, hold up. This eclipse is begging you for a level up, is begging you to go ahead and step up and stop playing, downplaying yourself, stop playing small, stop being humble. Because just like I said, that people who are insecure, they have to perform and force you to believe that they are so confident, and they are so abundant, and they've got it all together, and they're constantly trying to show you, look, and I spent this amount and that amount, and I spent this K and that K and this K and K. Nobody cares, because do you even believe that stuff? Do you even believe all of the stuff that you're doing? Or are you just trying to prove to other people that you're so confident and you're so abundant and your life is so great? Just as much as those things can be a performance, we can also get stuck in a performance of humility. Someone who I think performs humility is J. Cole. Now, I hate to say it because I love J. Cole. I like J. Cole. If you go to my Spotify playlist, you will see that I have one of what I think is one of his essential albums in his catalog in that playlist, because I think that there are some spiritual gems that we can suck out of that album. But anyway, I feel like J. Cole performs humility because, like, so for example, like, he posted himself in like some broke up car. Like, when he had dropped his last album, he was riding around in some broke up car. And it's like, bro, like, you're a famous rapper. You probably have millions of dollars. Get yourself a nice car and stop playing. Because when you perform humility, it's not even humility either anymore. It's self-sabotage. Okay? Don't trick yourself into being overly humble, my Leos, my Leo people out there. It's time for an upgrade in your life. It's time for you to really step into more of who you are. And yes, you may have some people that's going to hate on you. You may have some people who don't like your level up. But guess what? The people who don't like your level up, the people who are hating on you, just be happy they expose themselves, because they can't be a part of your next level. Let's go to Virgo. Before we go to Virgo, I just want to touch on the fact that For the last eclipse where I did these readings, I said that Leo is leaning into their passions more. Okay. So maybe you need to, I'm not sure how being passionate and upgrading your life goes hand in hand, but make sure that you are upgrading things that help you continue to live out your passions and dreams. Okay. Let's move on to Virgo though. Gotta move on to Virgo. Now, Virgo is interesting because in the last eclipse message, I said, Virgo, you need to be careful. You need to be careful. And that message became a lot more clear to me as time went on because there's a lot of things. I know that I have a Virgo placement and we all have Virgo houses. And so there's some things that became more clear to me throughout this year with that Virgo message from the last video. Virgo needed to be careful because there's some people playing in your face. And I gave a message years ago. You can go on my Facebook and find it. But I gave a message years ago about how face value can be very dangerous because sometimes you can take things at face value and you don't make it deep. But sometimes you have to make it deep because there's things that are being hidden from you in plain sight. There's things that are being omitted. There's manipulation happening. There's gossip happening. There's setups happening. And it's like being done right in front of you. But because you're taking everything at face value, you're not asking questions, you're not digging deeper, and you're not listening to your intuition. That's really the main thing. You're not listening to your intuition. So you're really being made a fool of. You're really being played. And so, Virgo, I hope that over the past 6 months, you have been being more careful and you've been honoring your emotions and you've been being more intuitive, more discerning. Okay? Because it's not fair to be caught up in situations all because you ignored the red flags, or maybe you gave someone the benefit of the doubt, or you didn't speak up for yourself. It's not fair for you to be looped into some negativity and BS all because you just didn't want to see it. Okay? But let's see what this eclipse here has in store for Virgo. Virgo, what is this eclipse begging you to address, alchemize, transmute? Virgo, this popped out again. I don't really think I have to go into detail because I just said that the last eclipse, there was a card. You can go back and watch the video. There was a card that said caution. And I gave a message saying, Virgo, I don't know, be careful. There's some things going on around you that's fake, that's phony, that's manipulative, inauthentic. Um, and that same message applies right here in August of 2026 during this second eclipse season. Virgo, this is a time for you to get really, really clear on your intuition and to listen to yourself and move accordingly. Everybody that's around you right now is not your friend, not your family. They're not looking out, and they may not say anything. They may not be telling you anything, but it's up to you to discern the truth. Right now, Virgo, you may be having like some type of purging or cleansing in your inner circle. You may be reevaluating who gets to have access to you, and that's exactly what you should be doing. And that might be kind of painful, but the lesson that should come out of all of this is discernment and listening to yourself. Now, we led with that message, but Virgo, there's also some creative inspiration available. Okay, so Virgo, even though this may be a trying time for you right now during these eclipse seasons of 2026, there's also creative inspiration available to you. Whatever you're going through, don't forget to tap into what inspires you. Don't forget to tap into your passions. Okay, 2026, year of the horse, is a great time to really, really get back to what lights you up and to invest in those things. So let's move forward to Libra. Libra, last time we did these messages, Libra, we talked about how you're stronger than you think. Okay, just keep that in mind as we get to the bottom of what this eclipse and Cancer is begging you to address. And my moon is in Libra, so we're gonna see. All right, but we have the Six of Clubs. So for number one, six, all sixes deal with the past. Okay, so there's something coming up at this eclipse that is very, very reflective and telling of past situations, past events, past circumstances, okay? And sometimes things revisit us or things come up from the past, most times to be addressed for once and for all. For my Libras, there's something from the past that's coming up at this eclipse that maybe you haven't fully dealt with and you need to deal with it right now. Okay? Yes, Libra, you are strong. You are so much stronger than you thought. But there may be some things that you're still needing to work through that may require some of that strength, but it also may require some other things as well. This card also talks about, it's kind of like a card that says you've been here before. So it's kind of like a card that asks you to use your knowledge of the past to help you in this present moment, okay? And that's really as much information as I can really give for Libras at this eclipse, is that there's something that's going to be coming up once and for all for you to deal with. There's something coming up from the past. You know, it may be an emotion, it may be a circumstance, it may be somebody that is coming up from the past that you need to deal with once and for all. And you're gonna have to rely on your experience to really deal with it the best way possible. Scorpio, last time we spoke about eclipses, we were talking about how it's time for you to surrender. Scorpio is probably the strongest sign in the zodiac. And when I say strength, I don't just mean physically, I mean emotionally. They really, really can put up with a lot. But the problem with Scorpio is that your tolerance makes you inauthentic. Okay? So you end up putting up with situations and people that don't make you feel good, people who don't treat you well. You end up staying in environments too long that are unfit for you, and then you say, "Oh, I'm strong." Okay, you're strong. I will give you that, but you're also deeply, deeply inauthentic because you're using your strength to, like, you're misusing your strength, and then you're really abusing yourself, right? Because you've been conditioned to, put up with just about anything. Sometimes, you know, the worst of the worst abuse and treatment. Now you just turn the knife on yourself, right? And so Scorpio has to learn, especially right now with all these water signs, you know, Saturn and Pisces, Jupiter and Cancer. Scorpio is in the process of learning how to soften up and be honest about the stuff that hurts, be honest about things that don't feel good, be authentic, okay? Because I talked about this. The video is on TikTok and Facebook during Taurus season. I said sometimes Scorpios, they think they are the realest zodiacs, the realest people, and they think they're keeping it 1,000, but they be so, so, so fake because they're so, so, so uncomfortable. And so they think that their discomfort is authenticity. And it's not. So Scorpio, we got the Two of Diamonds. Okay, Two of Diamonds talks about small improvements. It talks about like things getting better over time. So what I'm really getting is that there's some subtle and small breakthroughs happening. What Spirit is just whispered in my ear is small breakthroughs in the heart. Scorpio is one of those signs that deals a lot with heartbreak. And so if you have Scorpio placements, there may have been some things in your life that truly broke your heart, like may have shattered your heart. And so, in order to protect yourself, I'm speaking from experience because I too have a Scorpio placement, guys. To protect yourself from being hurt to that degree again, you might have become hard. But here's the secret, it's not about being harder, it's about being more discerning. So the sharper your discernment gets, the sharper your intuition gets, the the easier it is to protect yourself because you won't even be in the same room with people that can hurt you. You won't be accessible to people who will weaponize things against you. There's some small breakthroughs that are happening, but it's because you're softening up. It's because you're more in touch with yourself and you're more in tune with your heart space, okay? So, what I'm going to say is that this moment right now, this eclipse is begging you to keep doing the work, keep trying, keep going. Don't give up because you're making small breakthroughs and you're making small changes and you're making like revelations in your journey that are really, really going to add up to something bigger. So, this moment is begging you to keep going. It's begging you not to give up. Okay. I hope that is really encouraging for my Scorpios out there because I know y'all be going through it. Okay. And I'll be right there with you. Let's go on to Sagittarius. All right. So, Sagittarius, last time we spoke about the eclipses, I was saying that you're realizing your royalty, you're realizing you're the standard, you're realizing that, hold up, I'm leading these, I'm leading these, I'm leading these, they following me. Yeah, you realizing that you are that girl or that guy. Let's see what this eclipse is begging you to alchemize, begging you to transmute, begging you for a solution, begging you for a response in your life. What is that? Okay, Sagittarius, Queen of Hearts. So there's a couple of things, Sagittarius. There's something in your life that's begging you to like put yourself first, put your feelings first, honor your emotions, take care of yourself. Okay, this is what your life is begging for right now. It's begging for sovereignty. Your life is begging you for sovereignty right now. It's begging you to take up space, like, but emotional space, is begging you to be in your body. The Queen of Hearts, it talks about all those things, but the Queen of Hearts also talks about mothers, and it can also point to the divine feminine. Now the divine feminine has different facets of itself, so it's not all about emotions. Okay, the divine feminine has other aspects. Okay, but I'm just gonna be frank, because if y'all been following me, y'all know I'm a Sag sun, okay, and Mercury. But don't be clocking my birth chart T. Okay, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Okay, Sagittarius, you may have some issues coming up with your mother. All right. But the issues that are coming up with your mother is more about, they're not necessarily about you. They're more so about how you're going to handle the situation. Does that make sense? If you have issues coming up with your mom, whatever she has going on, like, don't over personalize it because there's some things that she needs to address as well. But this moment, this eclipse is really showing you it's time for you to stand on your emotional business. It's time for you to take up space emotionally and to not back down. It's okay to have discomforts, whether that be with your family or just any area of your life, and to not necessarily intellectualize it, but just to say, hey, this is how I feel. And no, I'm not going to back down from my feelings. I'm also not going to over explain my feelings. It is what it is. And you let that person feel whatever they feel, and you're allowed to feel whatever you feel, because this Queen of Hearts says, I'm going to feel what I want to feel when I want to feel it. The Queen of Hearts can also point to like having a female figure in your life, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your mother. It can be like a boss at your job, but it could just be someone who, like a woman who has like authority in your life. This is like a situation where it's almost as if like whoever this person is, it may not all be your mom. It could be your, it could, this also stands for a wife. Okay, the Queen of Hearts is a wife as well. It could be for my males or people that are married. This could be your wife, this could be your mother, this could be a female boss that you have. Queen of Hearts could be a lot of people, almost like this person who sometimes their emotions can kind of take over a situation. It's like maybe they're not trying to, but it kind of manipulates things because you feel like, oh, I don't want them to get upset with me. Or, oh, I don't want them to feel bad, or I don't want them to be sad or disappointed with me. So then you end up changing or rearranging your life for their comforts. This eclipse says no more of that. No more of that. You're done with that. Okay. And so I don't know, if somebody, you could be going through a divorce, you could be getting a new job, or you could be deciding to leave a job, or you could be like me, going through some relationship changes with your mom, and you could be deciding your emotions are not going to override my life. Your emotions are not going to take up all the space. I have my own emotions. I have my own body to tend to, and it's time for me to take up space and me to stand on whatever those feelings are, and for me to not shift my reality around and shift my life around to make you comfortable. You now are responsible for your own comfort. That's the tea here. Okay, so right now, Sagittarius, this was a heavy message for us. I'm not gonna lie. Again, you don't have to have Sun in Sagittarius for this message to hit. Okay, you can have Moon in Sagittarius, you could have anything in Sagittarius, and this message could hit for you. Right now is a time to draw the line with people who want to cancel out your feelings or your emotions, or alter whatever your life is with their emotions. This eclipse is really about boundaries, honestly. And it's really about you standing in your feelings and your emotional truth, and not letting someone usurp your emotional authority. By learning to do that, by learning to stand in that, you also are going to be preparing yourself for a new level of authenticity, a new level of power, and maybe even different roles, like, leadership positions, or maybe to be a guide to someone. You being able to take up emotional space, you being able to pass that test, whatever it may be at this eclipse season, with flying colors, that is going to position you to level up. Sagittarius, you can't be royalty, and then when somebody feels a type of way, especially maybe someone close to you, or someone that you love, or someone you admire, when they feel a type of way about you, then you shrink yourself. That's not royalty. Royalty is sovereign. I just got through, a couple months ago, I got through watching Crowned on Netflix, which I really enjoyed. Which, fun fact about me, I love a good, like, political drama. That's kind of like a genre that I've been getting into over the years. So I really like seeing the, like, storylines where they have like the inner workings of royalty or whatever, and You just see how they navigate certain situations. And um I think that's very interesting. One of the things that they kept reiterating in this show Crowned, they would always talk about like sovereignty a lot, and how sovereignty is basically the ability to not be moved by everything. Utter chaos can be happening around you, and you're not rushing to put out every fire. You're still grounded, you're still centered, and you're still able to operate independently, and you can watch the fires happen around you. You can assess the situation, and then you can come and decide which fire is necessary to put out. Because some of the fires that people have is from inside the house. It ain't from outside. It don't got nothing to do with you. So if you are royalty, right, and you're going rush to put out every fire, then your house is going to be under attack. Sometimes you got to let people put their own fires out. Yes, let's move on to Capricorn. We're making our way around the zodiac. Capricorn, last time we spoke during the eclipse, we were talking about how it's time to really do more digging when it comes to your grief, okay? When it comes to your sadness, when it comes to dense, dark, heavy emotions that uh, may be difficult to deal with, but sometimes Capricorn, you wallow in things. So earlier when we spoke for the eclipses that happen in the spring, we said that it's time to do more than wallow in those emotions. It's time to get some health checkups done. Do you have a vitamin deficiency? Do you need some medical care? Do you need to take a prescription? Do you need more physical activity? What can you do in your self care that can really, really help you see that it's more to these emotions, it's more to the grief, it's more to the sadness, it's more to whatever I'm experiencing that's dark than just, oh, I feel bad. Maybe you're not getting enough rest, maybe you're overworking yourself, and maybe you need to make some lifestyle changes that will promote your well-being, okay? And I can attest to this personally. For years and years and years, I went through my life as a teenager and a young adult just not knowing what was wrong with me. And it took me to get into my mid 20s to really formally get diagnosed with clinical depression as well as a few other things. And so it's not that you're crazy or oh you just always sad. It's more to it than that. But you've got to do the work. You've got to start asking questions. You've got to start going see professionals, not just readers. Okay, not just self-diagnosed. That's a start. But you got to go to the professionals and you got to get some more help, and you got to make some lifestyle changes so that you can be better. Because at a certain point, nobody's gonna care if you just walking around sad and wallowing and moping all the time. They don't know how to help you because they're uneducated as well. So you've got to start doing the digging and you got to do the homework, okay? So 6 months later, let's see what your life is begging you to transmute, what your life is begging you to alchemize, what solutions is your life begging you to create. So I'm noticing that this eclipse is getting a lot of that three energy. And so in numerology, the number three represents um, creativity. It also can represent chaos. It can represent spreading yourself out, maybe too thin, or maybe involving yourself in spaces that you don't need to be in. But also, the three can represent networking and just working together. It can also represent diversity as well. So it's very interesting that the number three, it has repeatedly come up in this session here. So just take that into consideration overall during this Cancer eclipse and this second eclipse season in general. There is this energy of mixing things up, diversifying things, getting more creative, but also examining the circles that we kind of intertwine ourselves in, examining connections and relationships, and also maybe even seeing the ways that we might be spreading ourselves too thin, or we might be a little too diverse, and we might just need to hone in on just a few things that are really really good for us so that we can invest more into that. So, Capricorn, that all those messages that I just gave applies to you. Right now, your life is begging you for, what I'm hearing is diversity. Your life is begging you to try some new things. That's what I'm getting. Your life is begging you to try some new things, to switch it up, even network. Just trying to do things a different way. But also, again, like I said, with the number three, this three of diamonds also talks about getting your priorities straight. So your life right now is begging you to iron out what's most important for you, not just financially, but maybe mentally, maybe physically, right? And this is kind of going back to what we talked about 6 months ago. By this point in the year, you should be realizing a little bit more about yourself, even if, like myself, you already knew things about whatever you're going through or whatever you're dealing with prior to 2026. This is an opportunity for you to really look at things in your life and iron out your essentials, iron out the direction that you want things in your life to go, set new goals, and just see where do you need to do things differently, or see what's already working and what you just need to maybe keep progressing with the same way. Okay, you may need to get some more help, you may need to collaborate with some different people, you may need to do some networking, you may need to explore different options or opportunities that could help you, like in your career, in your creative path, whatever that may be. But it's kind of like, Capricorn, your life is begging you to kind of just like get your duckies in a row, just like explore, but like organized exploration, if that makes sense. Let's move on to Aquarius, okay? And whew, this video is long, so excuse me, guys. If you stay through the whole thing for all 12 signs, you're a trooper. Aquarius, last time we spoke, we talked about how you in denial a little bit. You in denial a little bit. Like, Aquarius, you be sad. You be sad, you be going through things, and like you be like disassociating from your emotions, and you be like faking it till you make it, but you really not okay. And you need to, well, at least 6 months ago, the eclipse was saying you need to be honest about where you are, because like, you're human, you're allowed to not be happy, not be perfect, have bad days. I just wonder, 6 months later at this Cancer eclipse, are you more honest? Are you able to have a bad day? Are you able to accept that you're not perfect and don't have it all together? Are you able to not be so performative and pretentious? Let's see. Right now, Aquarius, your life is begging you to transmute, alchemize, and find a way to handle the rejection that you keep holding on to. Now, whether you have Aquarius placements or not, you have an Aquarius house. There's somewhere in your life that you have been utterly, confusingly, disgustingly rejected by someone or a group of people, and that experience may have stuck with you. I know for me personally, I have had a lot of acquaintances, because I'm reluctant to call them friends, but I've had a lot of acquaintances that have done really, really ugly things to me, that have said really, really ugly things to and about me. And it sticks with me to this day. Those things still hurt me. And I still cry about them because I can't believe that somebody would say those things about me or do something like that to me. But here's the thing, a lot of times that rejection was never about you. It was never about you. And so you have to find a way to transmute that experience and alchemize that rejection. You have to find a way to understand it was never about you. And I don't really know, that's really hard to do, trust me. I'm living proof of it because I've had people say all kind of things about me. I've had people say I'm lost, I'm unaccountable. I've had people say I'm manipulative. I've had people tell me I'm disconnected from God. I've had people say all kind of stuff about me. I'm scared to express my sexuality. I'm hiding my sexuality. I have a fake business. I've had people say I'm crazy. I've had people say a lot of ugly things about me. But you know what? Those people were talking to themselves. The person that said I was disconnected from God, they were disconnected from God. The person who said I was lost, they were lost. The person who said I have a fake business, they have a fake business. Maybe they're not confident in their business. Maybe they're scamming people and they feel bad about it. And so they haven't come to terms with the fact that maybe there's some more authenticity that they need to work through in their own business practices. Because I don't even have a business. So it's not even about me, and so many things that people have used against you, they weren't about you. At a certain point, though, we can't wallow in that rejection. We do have to grow up. We do have to extract the lesson out of it, and we have to move on. Right now, Aquarius, your entire life is begging you to move on from those rejection wounds. Your entire life is asking you, what are you going to do moving forward when you're faced with rejection? How are you going to handle rejection moving forward? And how are you going to heal from being rejected? Whether it was from childhood or from today, from right now. This card is also asking for some type of change in the work that you do. Okay? Some of us, whether it's your career path or whether you might have a side hustle or maybe you're an entrepreneur, there's something that your life is begging you to change within your career path. Maybe you're not as passionate about it anymore. Maybe, I don't know, but there's a change that needs to happen there. So I hope that message helps you, and I hope that you continue to heal your rejection wounds because, like I said, I don't have Aquarius placements, but I have experienced rejection and it really, really hurts. And I'm still healing from some of those experiences today because a lot of people that I poured into, they did nothing but take from me. And yeah, some people they gave some things back, but it's about how you're going to handle that moving forward. It's about the lesson. It's about using that to become more mature, become a better version of you, and to not even put yourself in that same situation ever again. Pisces, we talked about how you needed to pause. You're moving too fast. You're overstimulated. You got some stuff going on that maybe you're just letting happen. You're just going with the flow. You're just vibing. But it's like, you need to pause because sometimes you just doing stuff just to do it, but you need to wait so that you can be in alignment, so that you don't miss out on what's for you because you're just vibing and going with the flow. Everything is not for you right now, Pisces, but you gotta be still to know that. Okay? So, Pisces, let's see what your life is begging for, begging you to change. The Nine of Spades asks you to handle your anxiety, your disappointment, your stress. Okay? So, Pisces, there are some uncomfortable emotions that may be coming up for you, and you need to figure out a solution for that. You need to figure out, is it your environment? Is it certain people that you're around? Is it certain relationships that are triggering you? Is it watching certain content? Is it eating certain foods? Like, what is it that's causing you to have anxiety or stress or be so triggered by whatever it is? Your life is begging you right now to find a solution for your triggers, to transmute those triggers into something better, something that serves you. It's time to stop like being so triggered without a solution. Something that I'm discovering, being that it's my Saturn return and I am a Saturn and Pisces baby, something that I have been learning is that sometimes when it comes to your triggers, sometimes when things get you in states of extreme anxiety, extreme stress, when you get so worked up, whether that's by a person, place, or an event, sometimes you just have to have extreme boundaries and no zero tolerance for whatever it is, be it a person, place, or a thing. You have to have zero tolerance. You know, that's really the only solution, is to not even allow it to permeate your existence. Okay, so I'm just sharing that with you, but there may be some other things that you need to do. Maybe you need to get on medication, maybe you need to go see a doctor, maybe you need to go get diagnosed, or maybe you just need to do some lifestyle changes. But yes, your life is begging you to really get to the bottom of your anxiety, your stress, and see what is causing this and what can you do to alleviate it. Aries, last eclipse season we talked about how you need rejection to show you show you who you are, show you like yeah, show you who you are, and also so that you can be the leader that you're supposed to be. um yeah, you need rejection. And it's funny because for Aquarius, we just got through saying that Aquarius is really healing rejection wounds. um they're really going through like this deep process of healing deep rejection wounds. Okay, and so it's funny how one sign is healing from rejection, and another sign is realizing that rejection not only protected them, but it also elevated them into who they really needed to be and where they needed to be. So I just want to pause for a second, and I want to say that Aquarius, if you're still here with me listening to this Aries portion, I want you to also apply that to yourself as you're continuing to heal through rejection wounds. I want you to also recognize how rejection protected you and how also rejection elevated you, because it pushed you into doing something different. It pushed you into doing something better. It pushed you into more authenticity, more uniqueness, and not to just be cookie cutter, and not to just do whatever was expected of you, right? And so that may be a tool that you can borrow from Aries, Aquarius, to help you heal rejection wounds, is learning how to flip that around and just say, you know what, that situation really hurt me, but I'm glad that it happened that way, because if I would have been comfortable, I would have been in this situation. I would have been in this circumstance. I would have been friends with these type of people. I would have been stuck at this type of job. Okay, so Aries, we have the red joker. We have the red joker. So Aries, right now, the red joker talks about potential. It talks about starting over. It talks about starting fresh. It's like you're at square one. You're at zero. And remember, I'm an Aries rising, guys. So bow, 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 bow. Your life is begging you to alchemize, transmute, transform your potential, right? You're at a space right now, more than halfway through 2026, where it's almost like you can really do anything. You can really, it's like you're in this, you're in a clean slate, you're in a fresh start, you're in like, how can I say this? It's like you're, I don't want to say you're starting over, but it's kind of like this energy of like you have everything is fresh around you, everything is new around you. And so you have an opportunity to really launch yourself into any direction, right? Um and so I feel like the message is like don't be wasteful of that potential. The Joker represents the number 0. The Joker is also red. There's two Jokers. Okay, one Joker is black, which that's the bad Joker, and one Joker is red, and that's the good Joker. The Joker card also talks about kind of being like reckless and taking risk, right? And so again, this moment right now, this eclipse in Cancer is begging you to alchemize your risk-taking ability, begging you to take a chance on yourself. You're not reckless. You're not reckless if you can use that energy, if you can use that momentum, if you can use that force that you have within you the right way. It's not reckless. It's powerful. You pack a punch, Aries, but you just got to know how to direct that punch, right? And so if you're able to use that energy, use that intention, use your personal power. If you're able to use those things in ways that can excel you and elevate you forward and that can help you build, you're on the right track. Okay, so yeah, you know, at this eclipse, whether it be right before the eclipse or during the eclipse or after the eclipse, you may have jumped out and you may have done something on sheer faith, on sheer will, and you may have people that might look at you crazy and be like, you know, why would you do that right now? You know, or you didn't need to do that, right? And some people, they may think you're reckless, they may think anything about you, right? But this is confirmation. If you're pushing forward, if you're moving forward with intention and purpose, the sky's the limit. This is your moment. This is your moment to alchemize, transmute, transform your power, your intention, yourself into a new level. We've got 2 more signs to complete. And guys, I have been filming this for over an hour, so I'm like, I can't believe I did this. These messages are long. Taurus, last time we spoke during the eclipses, we talked about how Taurus, you're finally at peace. You finally let some things go. You finally stop caring about what everybody thinks. You finally have found comfort within yourself. You finally found inner peace. Here's the sad thing. Even though you have gotten more peace, you still got more work to do. And you're not alone. We've went through almost all 12 zodiac signs, and we see that all 12 zodiac signs have work to do. Your work at this eclipse is going to be right here in the 3 of spades. Again, the number 3 has come up a lot in this eclipse, in this series of eclipse readings, okay? I'm not going to go over what the number 3 represents again because I've already done that. However, the suit of spades talks about communication, it talks about travel. Okay? There's two main messages that I want to deliver to my Taurus people, my Taurus babes. I'm gonna start with the positive one. The first message is that Taurus, you may need to take a break. Okay? Now, this is not, I don't know what you need a break from, but you may need some space. Okay? The 3 of spades talks about like taking small trips or small vacations, like maybe like road trips or something like that. But it's like you need a little bit of perspective. I'm gonna leave it at that. The more negative message that I'm getting from my Taurus babes is that you need to be more honest. This eclipse season is begging you to be honest. And it doesn't really have to be with other people, but you at least got to start to be honest with yourself. There's something that you keep lying about. You keep lying about it. And so it's disrupting that peace that we were talking about earlier. It's like you've started to get more peace and more like comfort within yourself, but it's like you're still struggling with something. And that's for you to figure out. But it's going to start with honesty. More honesty is needed, Taurus. And that's what your life is begging you for. And so, again, that may come from just taking a break, maybe giving yourself some space and some time to process whatever you need to process. Maybe that looks like changing your location, going for a weekend stay somewhere. I don't really know what that looks like for you, but I'm just here to deliver the message that you need to get some perspective. You need to maybe that looks like getting a few trusted opinions on a situation or on whatever you're going through to help you develop that honesty that you need, because sometimes, guys, it's hard to be honest with yourself because you don't even know where to start. Like, sometimes we go through so much and we have so much built up within us that we can't even get to the bottom of it. We don't even know like where to begin because it's just so many things that have like built up over time. The truth is always layered. You know what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes we think we've told the truth about something, and then we dig a little bit deeper and we realize like that was just the first layer of the onion. And let me just go a little bit further because 3 of spades also talks about telling your story. So, being honest, it may involve telling a little bit more of your story, getting it out, laying it all on the table. Okay? So, Taurus, I don't know if you who you can talk to about something that you're going through. Maybe you need some trusted a small circle to really get these things out to, but again, Taurus, you need to be honest. You need to find a space where you can be honest. You need to get it out, whatever that is. Get that out. Tell more of your story, because guess what? The honesty that you share with others is going to not only help you, but it's going to help somebody else too. But you got to help yourself. We don't want anything to take us away from that inner peace that we found. Okay? So make sure that you're not letting things fester at this eclipse when you really, really need to let it out, because it, like I said, all it's going to do is disturb that peace that you've been working so hard for. So let's move on to our final sign, Gemini. That's what we're going to close this reading out with. And last time we talked about Gemini, we were talking about how Gemini is discovering that they're more talented, they have other gifts, that require them to not be seen. So, Gemini, you may be discovering your writing abilities. You may be discovering just different abilities that don't necessarily require you to be seen. Maybe you're discovering you can direct, or you can oversee a project, right? But you don't necessarily have to be so hands on, right? Um, Maybe you can do some administrative roles, okay? So Gemini was discovering 6 months ago that they are more talented, more gifted. But Gemini was also discovering that they are in denial about some things from the past. They're in denial about some things that have changed in life, and maybe they needed to come to terms with that. So, Gemini, I hope that you've been able to face the facts of your life and try to move forward, or move with more truth, more honesty. It looks like Taurus, Gemini, kind of, that axis has some work to do in the honesty department. But anyway, let's see what your life is begging you for right now at this Cancer eclipse. All right, we've got the Ace of Clubs. Gemini, you're ready. Gemini, you're ready to step it up in some area of your life. You're ready to stop holding back. You're ready to move forward, Gemini. So maybe you have addressed some of those things that you were in denial about over the past 6 months. Maybe you have been putting in some work, and maybe you're actually ready to move forward. Maybe you're ready to take charge and take more control over yourself and over your story and over your path. You're ready to start something new. But all these things are going to require you to establish a deep, deep focus on yourself. You're going to have to focus on yourself. And Gemini has a really hard time because they can be focused on 10 things at once and they can spread themselves out so thin. But are you really, really giving your best, and are you really, really giving your all like that? And the answer is probably no. So right now, your life is begging you for a divine level of focus and dedication to yourself, not to 5 other projects, and your friend need help with this and your cousin need help with that, and all these different things, all these different tabs that are open. Right now, this moment in your life is begging you for a divine level of focus. And you should pray to your guides, pray to your ancestors for focus. Okay? Again, because I'm, an advocate for go and get some medical diagnosis and prescriptions if you need that, because we do enough spiritual woo woo stuff, but sometimes we need medical attention. So if you are ADHD or ADD or whatever other diagnosis, maybe it's time to go get a prescription for that. Maybe it's time to go handle that. You know what I'm saying? It's time for a new level of focus. Your life is begging you for your attention in your life, on yourself. That's what's going to be the key to really, really alchemizing and transforming everything around you. Is when you stop getting distracted and being pulled into everybody else's reality except your own. Remember, Gemini, you are so gifted. You are so talented. You have a lot to offer. But now it's time to put yourself first. Guys, that is all I have for these eclipse messages. And I hope that you're able to not only derive messages that are for your sun, moon, rising, and dominant planets or elements, but also that you can see the overarching theme that's coming out of these eclipse messages, which is creative boost, sovereignty, being more authentic with yourself emotionally, um, using things that are painful, things that are hard, things that challenge us, and transmuting that into something that blesses not only you and your life, but everyone around you. We're on the brink of some really deep, permanent changes and blessings manifesting. So when you see this, I hope it inspires you to go through with whatever it is that you need to get there. Thank you for watching. See you soon.